Hey everyone, welcome to Retaliatory Strike. Today we have myself, Ryan, playing Legion of Everblight, and Bob playing Khador. This is our quote-unquote good casters. We asked the community and they were saying for Khador, good caster is Vlad 2, and I've put out for a couple of my different factions, and with everyone was saying Bethayne 1, so I figured with me having played her earlier on the channel and wanting to feel the differences, I decided to play her.
Hi everyone, I'm Bob, and I'm playing Vlad 2 in Wolves of Winter theme. So, I brought along a Greylord Adjunct. Vlad 2 does have a couple upkeeps, so he can upkeep one himself with great power, but it's nice to have another upkeep. Guidance is less critical than it usually is for me because I have magic weapons all over the place, and Vlad can dispel clouds, so the out of sight part probably doesn't matter a ton. But I really want the adjunct in there because he can do a blizzard cloud, and the Koldun Lords can also do blizzard clouds. So I can still put out 3 clouds if I wanted to, even though I don't have a Turnian around. So I thought that was pretty handy to have some kind of defensive tech, some kind of delivery assistance. And then I got the Juggernauts and the Marauder because they're not crazy. Vlad 2 is not really about his battle group too much, so it's less critical what I bring there. I just need some kind of beaters to back up the Doom Reavers. It's something for my second wave, really. And then I've just got some Mechaniks because good to have, why not? And I like bringing the officer because sometimes that blast immunity matters. Like if you're playing as adjudicators and they're bouncing AoEs everywhere, I like having the battle mechanic officer around just for that blast immunity. I've got 2 units of Doom Reaver swordsmen with the escorts because the escorts give them everything they want for relentless charge or aura of entropy, that kind of good stuff. And I've got a unit of Crow's Cutthroats with Koldun Captain Valachev attached. So I know the normal thing to do with a Vlad 2 Wolves of Winter list is to have like 4 or 5 units of Doom Reavers so you can just keep throwing Doom Reavers downrange all game. But I don't really like spam type lists, and I'm getting excited about bringing Valachev along because this is now the only theme he works in. And I like when I can make... I have a lot of mercs, so I like it when I can make my mercs friendly faction. Thought that was cool. So I kind of had a game plan early on of putting Hand of Fate on them because if they're not fighting their prey target, they're only Rat 5, Power 10. So Hand of Fate kind of helps that be effective, even if they're not fighting their prey target. And I really like that Crow has a neat special effect on his gun, where he has silence. He hits them with it, and they can't cast spells after. And I was hoping I could maybe make that apply. And the other reason they're in there is if my opponent has the kind of troops I can actually affect with Crow's Cutthroats, and they're trying to play the threat range tango of they don't want to commit too many models in my threat range to try to bait up my feet early, I could have Crows go skirmish with them and still back off, and I can start whittling them down without committing too much, was the goal behind putting them in the list. I've got Alexia 2, so I can recycle those dead Doom Reavers into Thrall Warriors, because that's kind of fun to do. I've got Fenris there to grant rise to the Doom Reavers more than anything else. I have Forge Seer to empower a little bit, which is always nice, and give the Koldun Lords access to his Hoarfrost spell if that becomes a thing they want to cast. And I got 2 Koldun Lords, because I like the idea of copying the Escort spell, making those blizzards. I like the idea of copying the Forge Seer spell and doing lots of empowers if that's the thing to do. I really like their Wind Ravager, too, of this area of no range attacks. Because I've found it's super critical sometimes to shut down shenanigans like the Clockatrice coming in and assault spraying from across the table. If you just have this big area of no range attacks, you go, yeah, that assault spray thing isn't happening. Well, this guy's up anyway. So I like that a lot. And then also, of course, it's the only in-faction damage debuff that's not tied to a caster when they get that Brittle Frost out there, which can help those Doom Reavers crack a harder target, maybe. That was my list.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. Today I'm running Bethayne 1 in Children of the Dragon. So this is my quote-unquote good caster. So I'm seeing that lots of people are taking her with like Hex Hunters and stuff, and ideally, and the Thrones, but ideally I would take those, but I don't currently own them, so I built a list out of stuff that I felt would play well with her, even if it means that her feat isn't overly impactful. So I have Bethayne 1 with obviously Belfgor, an Archangel, because everyone was saying that she runs them great, Carnivean, a Nephilim Bloodseer, and a Succubus. For solos, I have Annyssa Ryvaal, a Blighted Nyss Shepherd, Craelix, Fang of Everblight, and a Forsaken. And for units, I have the Blighted Nyss Raptors, a max unit, and the Soup Kitchen, which is the Boilmaster and Spirit Cauldron, and Spawning Vessel. So the idea behind it is my Archangel's a big heavy hitter, because looking at it, you can put Bloodthorn onto it for +2 damage to its range. You can get its Animus out there for another +2 damage to range, and then if you disintegrate a model, it's -2 armor for an effective POW 20 shot, and that lights them on fire and corrodes them, and then and you get 3 shots. So it's pretty, from what I saw, pretty decent to bring them together. I brought the Nephilim Bloodseer because I did bring them in Children of the Dragon, so it will have Unyielding, and then with the Carnivean I can put up Spiny Growth to make them a little bit more durable. And then Annyssa to support the Nyss Raptors, Craelix to just for some more range. I like taking him and Annyssa together because then it's like a second unit of Raptors effectively, because she gets 2 shots and he gets 3. And then the Boilmaster and Spawning Vessels just there to pop out lessers throughout the game. So that was the idea behind bringing them.
Deployment. So, first thing that happens is I'm on the roll-off, so I'm going first, and I'm setting up my guys. I mean, I know Vlad and the Mechaniks are definitely going to go in the middle, and I've got his jacks more or less central. I'm really hoping I can deliver the Marauder to the Archangel, but I don't know if that's going to happen, because I have a sail, which is nice, but I don't natively give Pathfinder. So I do take my objective as the Pathfinder granting objective, because I've got some rough terrain in front of the objective, and I've got the forest to contend with, so I figure that will probably come into play. I do deploy, this is the Koldun Lords, one on each side, Forge Seer a little off to the right. The majority of my army advance deploys, so I mean, there's not a ton to do with my regular deployment. And Fenris is way up on top. I'm kind of hoping I can use him to threaten some of the support models on that side, maybe. But that's about it there. I'm just pushing the Mechanik officer and the little Mechaniks in. That is my initial deployment, and it goes over to Ryan's.
Alright, for my deployment here, I'm putting Bethayne kind of up the middle. I figure that she can probably go and might be able to get in behind that wall. I know Bob's list is super fast, but I put the Archangel in the middle because I figure I want him to react to where if Bob pushes a certain side extra hard. So I put the Bloodseer right up next to Bethayne there, and then I have the Carnivean right next, so then the Bloodseer can put up Spiny Growth turn 1 if needed. I put the Forsaken and the Shepherd down low, and then I have Annyssa and the Raptors on the bottom side of the screen here, with a Spell Martyr as well in case I want to cycle the Bloodthorn over. I have Belfgor just above Bethayne on the top there, and then I'm setting up my Soup Kitchen, and then Craelix right next to her as well, so then he can put out some shooting on that side, and that is my deployment. And I took the healing objective for mine.
So, for my advanced deployment, I'm looking at putting Doom Reavers a little bit one to each side. I know I want the black unit to run and hang out behind the forest to threaten to apparate and charge through. And the other guys I just want more or less central, a little off to the left maybe. I want to try and have Alexia in position to take souls from the Doomweavers on the right, and Fenris in position to grant rise to the Doomweavers on the left. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. And then I also have Crow's Cutthroats to do after that. So I'm kind of looking at the... I ask the one dice I put in the middle of the table is the threat range of the Archangel just flying up and hitting people with fireballs. And like that's how far it's going to hit people directly with fireballs. So that's pretty nuts for its ranged threat. And I didn't even ask about the Raptors. I just know from experience that they threaten really, really far. So I decide I'm probably not going to be able to do the threat range tango and try to out-threat them. It's just not happening. So I'm also debating if Crow's Cutthroats can skirmish into the Raptors very effectively, and I decide that they probably can't. I'll have a bit of an edge by having stealth, but the defense on those Raptors is so hard to hit. So I decide that I put the Crow's Cutthroats more or less... At first I'm thinking way off on the end, and then I realized because they're friendly faction models, because I have Valachev, I do want to put Hand of Fate on them. That was my thought. Building this list is I want Hand of Fate on Crow's Cutthroats, so even if they're not attacking their intended target, they can maybe actually hit something, even shooting a Rat 5. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm starting to stack them up on the far flank, and then I realize I won't be able to Hand of Fate on them if I do that, so I decide to put them in the middle, so Vlad will be able to put Hand of Fate on them and then charge stuff. And that's what I end up doing for my deployment. Khador, turn 1. Okay, so I'm looking to see where I want to run my guys. First, I do my theme benefit of apparating a unit of Doomweavers or Greylords, so I apparate my one unit up there, because I can run these guys and get them just behind the forest. And I mean, I'm not kidding myself. I know that the Raptors can just walk forward and still shoot at some of them. I know the Archangel can reach some of them with fireballs, but I basically just sit in my deployment zone to not be in his threat ranges, so screw it. We're just going to flood the area with troops and hope enough of them survive that I can fight back next turn. That's the game plan. And I run up the red unit there behind the wall a little bit. So I'm checking speed, and so I know how far I can run Fenris up, because I do want him there to provide rise. What else am I doing here? So one thing is, I didn't build the turning of this list to put clouds on the Doomreavers, and my intent was I could have put out 3 Blizzards using the Adjunct and the 2 Koldun Lords, but I didn't think about doing that. I kind of forgot. It would have been a good thing to do, I think. Vlad put Arcane Might on himself so troops can boost. He put Assail on the Marauder, and he put Hand of Fate on Crow's Cutthroats, and then failed to charge. And now if my Crows run up, so Vlad put out those 3 upkeeps and gets to have 1 focus left on him in case something hits him. I have my Marauder fail to charge because that gives me 1 inch farther than it does by running it. And my 2 Juggernauts just run. My Forge Seer runs up, ready to give focus to a Jack if that's what I want him to do. Alexia runs up to park behind the wall, and so does the Koldun Lord, because I want Alexia in range to collect souls from the Doomreavers that I'm sure are going to die. And then I run up some Mechaniks, and that's it.
Legion, turn 1. Alright, so he ran all of his Doomreavers up, and they got real far up the board. So I might as well take some shots at them. I have a bunch of models that threat a real long way. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I decide to go with my Bloodseer first, because he's going to set kind of the line. So he puts up Spiny Growth for 1, and then charges for 1 up there. So now he's kind of in the way. I move up Annyssa. I had originally looked at taking shots at Alexia, but I was thinking this unit of Doomreavers is going to be a bigger issue than her. So I take a shot, I end up killing 1, and then I miss my next shot. And then I move up my Nyss Raptors here, making sure that there's lanes for them to see so I can shoot through, and then I start taking some shots here. So they're taking some shots. They're at 8 with Annyssa nearby, so like they're pretty accurate. I'm not needing a lot. First one misses, second one hits and doesn't tough. Third one's trying to see what he can shoot at. Can't see anything, so I have the other one take a shot, kill him. And then I'm going with the next one, so I end up taking all except for 2 guys out of that unit, so that's great there. I decide I'm going to charge and spray with my Carnivean after putting up Spiny Growth. So there's me putting up Spiny Growth, the charge, so he charges up, and I'm just making sure that I am landing where I need to land, and I am. So I boost to hit the Doom Reaver, and I end up killing him, so now that's just the unit leader and 1 model in that unit, which is good for me. And then I move up Craelix, who's going to start taking shots at the Doom Reavers on the top half of the board here. So he hits, and that one toughs. I shoot again, or shoot at another guy. I hit, and he toughs, so now there's 2 guys knocked down. I take my 3rd shot at another Doom Reaver and end up missing. So now I'm trying to see where my Archangel needs to go to get some shots, so I figure out in there, and then I'm thinking about it, and I say, the Doom Reavers are knocked down. Even with Apparition, they're not going to be able to stand up, walk, and attack at least. So I'm going to try to get some more damage onto the rest of the unit. So I shoot the one guy, which kills him because he doesn't tough. I take a shot at one of the crows, kill him, and then I'm kind of hemming and hawing here, and I take a shot and kill the guy behind the wall, and then I repo my 3 inches back. I then have my Forsaken walk up and pull 3 Fury off of my Carnivean. I then have Bethayne go up and put up Bloodthorn onto the Archangel. And then I have Belfgor run up, and he's just body blocking for her, which is good. And then I am going with my Crockpot, who rolls up 3 corpses and hands them out to the spawning vessel there, so that's great for me. I move up the Succubus in behind Bethayne, and then I move the pot over as the Doom Reavers are there and make a Harrier.
Khador, turn 2. Okay, so going into turn 2. So yeah, I definitely lost a lot of Doom Reavers, and yeah, I was super lucky because he missed a couple on those guys that I could have easily smoked me. So, anyways, I look at what I can't do with them with jacks. They're not getting any focus. That's no big deal. I apparate. I was looking at who I want to apparate, so I was looking to see how much a difference it makes, threatening 11 inches versus threatening 13. Forgetting I should have also been factoring in, it's going to be my feet turn for sure, so I can really launch some Doomies in while I still have them alive. So I kind of forgot that it should have been, instead of 13, threatening 16 inches. I should have thought of that more. But anyways, I decided I am going to apparate the red unit so they can inflict maximum carnage up on that flank. Especially since there's not very many of the black unit or green-based unit left alive. Although since last I forgot to reposition his Raptors, I probably could have got the one guy in there, and if he was all souped up, he might have gone on a rampage and killed like 3 Raptors, which could have been really good. But whatever. Vlad walks up a little bit and feats, and I roll up how many guys I get, and I rolled up a 3 in the D3, so I'm getting, or no, as I roll up 2 in the D3, it's D3 plus 3. So I get 5 guys I can turn up to be super. So I turn up the one guy, the one black guy, and then the black armor Doom Reaver, and the rest still are on the red unit. And I'm looking to see who I can threaten with over here. And I can threaten pretty deep back there and stay outside the 2-inch reach of the Bloodseer without too much trouble. So that's what I'm looking at doing. I'm getting in on Belphegor mostly. I figure it's a cool character beast, and sometimes Bethayne wants to go into it to be harder to kill, so I'm gonna see if I can knock out Belphegor. And I have one guy go into that the gator on the pot, and then the unit leader just goes and hangs out over there. So first thing happens is the guy in the pot, and I crank it, and he's tough, and that stops me. So that's slowed my roll down there. And then the rest of these guys are attacking Belphegor, and they crush into him super duper hard and do lots of good work. And then I have one guy redirect his attack into the Bloodseer, and then spend focus off Vlad to boost the damage roll. Is what's happening there. And I was looking to see if I could get into anything deeper, but I can't. Oh, I think I killed Craelix when I... that was what the last roll was, so I killed Craelix with a boosted roll. But then I said that, which he was the prey target of Crow's Cutthroats. The little orange token was me switching the prey target onto his caster. Because if Crow hits someone with his range attack, they can't cast spells anymore. And I thought that'd be super funny to turn off the spell casting of his caster. That'd be a big deal for me. So now if Crow's Cutthroats go up, and they start rattling some shots off. And he is... So, yeah, if I remember right, Ryan has deceleration up, so it's not like my attacks are going to do much damage, but I'm just hoping to get that anti-spell shenanigans on there. So one of my crows aimed, and he actually lands the hit, and then the rest, I shoot with the actual crow who I'm hoping will hit, and he doesn't. And then some of the other guys shoot, and I do clip him with another hit and do a couple points of damage. Hand of Fate's helping a ton. Hand of Fate and Prey stacked up is making a big difference. But then I'm looking to do their Zephyr from Valichev. And I was trying to decide if I want to keep him safe or not, and I just don't think I can keep anyone safe. So I do the reposition to jam into his zone. And hopefully create some problems for him to unpack more of his army next turn. And then I'll have to hold for Fenris, so Fenris can charge in and try hitting this Bloodseer. And the Bloodseer's armor is super duper high right now, so it's hard to do a lot of damage to. So we chip him a little bit, and then we hit him again, and don't really do anything. So that's a little poopy. But we speed up real bad. This guy can't quite make it to the flag and cast a spell, so he just runs the flag. So I'm scoring some points. Because I'm a little concerned that I'm going to have trouble fighting this army, so I'm just trying to get up on the scenario a little bit if I can. The Marauder failed to charge at Belphegor to get up that far, but the wall, in hindsight, the wall positioning wasn't great for me since I can't give him Pathfinder. Alexia goes up and turns my dead Doomreaver souls into Thrall warriors, and they charge into those Raptors, who could have been 5 inches further away if Ryan hadn't forgotten to put his repo, but that's okay. Because all three of these guys fail to connect their hits, because they're mat 6 and the Raptors are def 14, and the one solo is def 15. And then my Koldun Lord puts up Wind Ravager, because I don't like ranged attacks coming at me if I can help it. And these guys just move a little bit, no big deal. Nothing too wild for them. Then I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the rest of my guys. I originally envisioned my two Juggernauts forming a solid wall in front of Vlad so he wouldn't get shot to death, but I couldn't quite pull that off. But I get as close as I can with it, with the Forge Seer on that side, and then I have my Mechaniks run up, and my little guy puts a cloud on my Forge Seer, and that's that.
Legion, turn 2. Alright, so the surprise rise that I didn't realize was on the board kind of sucked for me, so there's a couple more Doom Reavers in attacking my models than I was hoping, so losing Craelix and Belphegor wasn't the greatest. Here I move my Forsaken over and I'm Blight Bursting, so I am hitting a bunch of the crows to hopefully unjam here. So I end up killing 2 of them out of the 4 that I hit, and then didn't kill the rest of them. Now I am going with I'm going to be charging with my Carnivean, but I want to get a spray that will hit Fenris, because I'm hoping that I can do a bunch of damage to him. So I go with my Nephilim first, who puts up the Archangel's Animus for +2 with fire damage rolls, and then he swings on Fenris and misses. No big deal. And then my Carnivean charges in, and he does his Assault Spray. I spend 1 to charge, and then I'm boosted to hit and boosted damage, and left him on about 3 boxes. And then I boosted to hit one of the crows, and then I put up Spiny Growth, so my Carnivean's on 4 there. Now I am going with Bethayne, who is putting out Disintegration on the Marauder behind the wall there. So I paid for it, and I boosted it, and I hit him, and I boosted damage, I believe. So now I'm going with Bethayne, who is camping 2, or her activation's done. And then I am going with my Harrier, who's walking up and swinging on a Doom Reaver. I'm boosting to hit, I boost damage, and I meet his armor. So on a boosted, I meet his armor, don't kill him, or even knock him down, which is great. And then I'm just trying to figure out how to deal with these Doom Reavers here, because they're kind of, I don't have a lot of really great volume of attacks over on that side with Craelix being gone and whatnot. And Belphegor, I was kind of hoping that he would survive and I'd be able to use him to clean up there. So now I am going with my Archangel, and I'm shooting at the Marauder, and unfortunately I am rolling it dice off 2 for damage, but as you can see on the screen there, like, I'm cranking in damage pretty good. And I have it miss one of them, and it deviates onto Fenris, which is actually pretty good for me. So I boost damage, which dehorses him. So now he's on fire, corroded, and dehorsed. And the fire can't go out, so I'm hoping that that's gonna finish him off next turn if I'm lucky, and it's going to be so it's going to be a POW 14 fire damage roll at least. So I hit my next one onto the Marauder, and he's beat up pretty good. His movement's out, so he can't charge over the wall or anything, and he's too far away from the objective to get Pathfinder. And then I start going with Annyssa, so she's taking some gunfighter shots. Or she did her melee, because he put up Wind Ravager, whatever it is. So she uses her melee, clears out 2 skeletons, and then repos onto the flag. And then I'm getting a charge onto Alexia, so there's an impact there from the first one, which does a couple points of damage. So I'm feeling pretty good here, and I'm seeing if I can get a second one onto Alexia, and I can't. So the rest of them fake charge into the one guy that tied him up there. I hit with my charge attack onto Alexia, and I kind of flub damage and leave her on like 3 boxes. And then between the 3 of those guys there, they clean up that last skeleton. And then I remember to repo this time because I forgot last turn, and kind of spread them out a bit, so hopefully they're a little bit harder to clean up. I use my pot, who then makes another Harrier, and then I have my guys walk around into the back arc of a Doom Reaver, and they start swinging on him right here. I'm going to be trying to kill this Doom Reaver with my that was my crock pot giving corpses to this to that, and then walking over into his back arc, and they ended up actually killing a Doom Reaver, which was great for my soup kitchen team there. And I did make another Harrier who goes in, and I have him swing on another Doom Reaver. I believe. And then I move up with my Succubus, and I try doing a Hex Bolt into the Crow, but end up missing, and that's my turn.
Khador, turn 3. So, going into turn 3. It's looking a little crazy over here. Alexia's almost dead. I'm getting kind of low on troops. So, first thing I look at doing is who I want to apparate, and I decide if I apparate those 2 Doom Reavers that are stuck into all those Harriers and stuff, I'll be... Oh, then we remember fire rolls and corrosion rolls and stuff like that, and Fenris dies to a fire roll, which kind of sucks. So, what else is happening here? Okay, I decided to apparate these guys. So they get unstuck from those Harriers, so I can maybe walk around and attack his caster, I'm thinking. And this other guy can walk up into that big mess of spawning vessel guys, is my plan. I'm looking at what I can do. I know the Juggernaut on the right, the bottom, I guess, could go into the Raptors. So I'll give him an extra focus so he'll be able to charge and boost his attack roll is the plan. Or do I empower for that later? No, I allocate to him because I'm dumb. I could have just empowered that one. But anyways, for upkeeping spells, I upkeep everything except Assail, because I know I goofed up with the position of the Marauder behind the wall, and his movement's out, and I can't get to him to repair him, so he can't do anything. This unit walks up, and the Doom Reaver starts attacking. I boost attack rolls off Vlad, and for the first one I boost damage on it too, because I connect the hit and boost the damage. Then I berserk on the next one and boost the hit, and realize I probably don't need to boost damage, I just need to roll not terrible, and that happens, so that's great. And then I cast a spell, 8-inch spray off the guy at the Raptor and the solo, and both of those miss. In hindsight, I probably should have gone for the no healing one, but I didn't realize that I was going to attack the Carnivean later, so it seemed like the thing to do was make more attacks. So then I'm looking at what I want to do up here, and yeah, I'm looking at moving these guys, look where I could wrap around to attack his caster, maybe. Kind of forgetting that she is defense 17, so my mat 7 Doom Reavers need to roll 10s to hit her. But I'm thinking, if I boost off Vlad, I could probably do that. And then this other guy, the last topper Doom over there, he walks right up into that mess of guys, and I'm hoping he's out of range to boost off Vlad, so he's on his own for this. But the other 2 are in, so they can boost off Vlad. So I decide, let's see what the guy who can't boost off Vlad can do. He starts swinging and hitting those pot guys, and he annihilates them all. Things go my way. He connects every hit he can. He kills every guy he can reach. This is what I love about Doom Reavers. If one single one gets on a pile of guys, they can just massacre them. So he did that. So that's great for him. He's a rock star. And now I'm looking at these guys. I'm thinking, okay, I can attack his caster, need 10s, or I can attack some of these other solos and not need quite as much. So I think I decide to attack... I have one guy attack her, and I think I miss. No, I hit her and do like minimal damage. It's not crazy. He transfers it to the Harrier. Not a big deal. Then the other one tried attacking the solos and goofed it up. And the other guy cast a spray that goes across one of the Harriers and Bethayne. And I can't remember if I hit the Harrier and do a couple points of damage, I think. But I actually do hit Bethayne and do a little bit. And then she transfers it to the Harrier and finishes it off. So, that went not terrible, honestly. Although I probably should have stuck to my original plan and just tried hitting Bethayne a bunch. But anyways, I have this one crow, figure out where he can go, and I walk up Valachev, and I'm kind of hoping I can connect a hit. And I was originally thinking maybe... Valachev could kill someone and proc Battle Wizard and cast a spell, and that'd be kind of neat. But I was a little sketchy about boosting on Vlad because I was down to 2 focus on him now, and I don't really want to strip him bare of focus with all these boosts. I'm looking to see, and I was thinking maybe I'll run my Marauder to engage something, and then we're right, movement's out. Can't run anywhere. That's awkward. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll put up a Juggernaut in front of that guy. And then I kind of realized I've given that the Juggernaut on the top, because has a toe in rough terrain, I've given it Pathfinder. So okay, let's get this guy out of the way. So this guy charges and kills a Raptor. Great. Then the Koldun Lord goes and empowers the other Juggernaut, who I just realized now I want to do combat. Vlad puts a sail on it to give me the threat range I need, so I can just reach the Carnivean. I get in there and I start rolling to hit. So I had a free charge, which is great. And I start cranking those hits. And I blow up the damage rolls. I miss with the fist attack. But the 2 ice axe attacks that hit are just crushing. I can't remember if I miss it. I think I missed my last ice axe into him. So it's a little rough. But it was a big damage rolls. And I had to cripple like 2 systems. And now I'm wishing I had put up the no healing aura. But I forgot about that. I run up some Mechaniks to get in position to do stuff later. I walk back the Marauder, and I think I'm able to fix him a little bit. Get his systems up and running. The other Koldun Lord puts up Wind Ravager. Now I'm looking to see what I can do with Alexia. So I can pull off a charge at his solo. One of those cheeky short-range charges, but I get it. I can do impact attacks against the one Raptor and his solo, but the impacts miss. I don't care about the impacts. I just figured I might as well go for broke, try everything I can do. But the big thing is the main attack hits, but doesn't do super awesome damage. It doesn't quite kill her. And then I look at spending souls, because Alexia 2 can spend a soul. Instead of making a skeleton, she can spend a soul to purchase attacks and boost her rolls. So I purchase the attack, I boost the roll, I do kill her. And then I get her soul and use that to purchase another attack and boost the roll. And I think I killed the other Raptor, or I almost do, one or the other. Then I have the Koldun Lord go up and zap a spell at there's a little spell martyr on the bottom, and I do kill that. So things are looking pretty good.
Legion, turn 3. Alright, so I roll up healing, and my Carnivean heals, so that's good there. I pull in some Fury, and there's still a bunch out on the board. 1 on my Carnivean, 2 on my Nephilim, 2 on my 1 Harrier. So I roll out all my Fury checks, and none of them frenzy, so that's great for me. So with what I'm wanting to do with Bethayne, I move the Harrier over to plug the hole, so then the 1 doesn't get a free strike on Bethayne. And it makes an attack and misses. No big deal there, really. But with how Bob has been scoring on scenario, he got 2 each turn, so it is currently 4-0. So I would need to really clear up a bunch of the area to even contest him winning on scenario here. So I have my 1 guy here going up. Oh, I have Bethayne, who put out 2 disintegration. She also feeded this turn. And then I'm trying to see if I can get the Nephilim, because he didn't frenzy and his spirit is still up. I had the Nephilim. I was trying to see if I could put up the Archangel's Animus there, and I couldn't, so I'm trying to decide what to do. So I go with the Carnivean, and I I force him to throw, because I want to throw the Juggernaut into the Marauder, with them both having disintegration on them, and him taking some damage from when he went in on the Carnivean. So that works out there, and I get the throw off, knock them both down. It's going good, and my Carnivean puts up Spiny Growth as well, so he's sitting on 3 again. And then I'm going with my Raptors here. They get their press forward order, so the 1 gets a charge into the back arc there and kills Alexia super dead, which is great. And then I repo, and I have the 1 stay just so he's contesting that 1 flag. But I'm not seeing a way that I can get a model that can meaningfully contest the zone and be able to clear out the zone. So I'm trying to figure it out here, but losing Belphegor early in the game is turning into quite the ordeal here. So that was my Forsaken. She just swung her claws and ended up killing a crow, I believe. And then my Nephilim go up. I boost to hit the one Doom Reaver. I hit him. Relevantly during Bethayne's activation, she did spend one Fury to heal. And then I move up with the Archangel. I can't clear my zone, and I'm kind of forgotten about scenario at this point, and I'm wanting to crush the Juggernaut and Marauder there, because we kind of looked at it after the fact and where I'd have to be for my Archangel to really clear out the zone and not kill a bunch of my own stuff would put him right in front of the Juggernaut and the Marauder, who are now currently right in front of bunch of Mechaniks. But I do manage to kill both of them with my Archangel shooting, and then I take a shot at the Doom Reaver. I boost a hit and I miss anyways, but it doesn't drift very far, so the Doom Reaver's on fire and corroded and knocked down, so he's probably going to die next turn. And then I don't do any damage to my Nephilim, but he's on fire and corroded as well, and only on 2 boxes, so that's not great for him. But I end my turn here. There's not much else I can do, and he scores 2 more to win the game. Afterthoughts. So playing through this game, Bob did win the roll-off, and he chose to go second this turn with this game, which I think was a really good choice because both of us had really fast armies. So the fact that he was able to get so much pressure on me right away, like, yeah, I got to hit his stuff pretty hard on turn 1, which was great for me. But with him being able to pretty much jam me out of the flags almost completely, and then I had some bad luck rolling damage onto Alexia there. I think if I cleared her out the turn that I got my first charge on her, which I needed to roll like a 10 or something on 4 dice, and I didn't, so that was a little bit sad to kill her. That might have helped a lot on that flank, because I know Bob was saying how he felt that, like, attrition wise he was losing horribly, which I do agree with, where if we weren't on scenario in any way, like, he was fast running out of anything that would be able to deal with the Archangel. So if that game was able to continue, I was going to start clearing out pretty much everything at that point. But what I think really changed the course there was him repoing the crows into my zone, and then him constantly getting enough stuff in the zone to contest it, where I didn't have enough models really, or attacks, to clear out the zone. I can definitely see where Bethayne likes having, like, the throne, because then, like, on her feet turn, that she's gonna get benefits from that. And then I can see why playing with Hex Hunters would be really good, because on feet turn they're gonna have boosted attack and damage rolls with their magic. In this matchup, I'm not sure if it would have been the greatest choice to bring those models. Like, I think if I had the Hex Hunters instead of my quote-unquote soup kitchen to pop out lessers, I would have had enough meat on that side to actually be able to clear out my zone. But with having the soup kitchen on that side, I wasn't able to clear out as many models as I was hoping to. But I think if instead of them I had the Hex Hunters, I think it would have been a completely different game, even if they couldn't cast spells at the Doom Reavers. I think they would have been able to clean up the Doom Reavers the turn after they got launched into me there. Or I might have ran them up and screened enough to where the Doom Reavers couldn't launch as deep and get into the back lines the way they did. Overall, I think it was a really good game. It was super interesting to see, even with the messing up the math on the Archangel, because it's the Archangel's normal shots 14. It gets +2 from Bloodthorn, which also makes it corrosive. It gains +2 from its Animus, so it's 14, 16, 18 there, and then you disintegrate the model for another, so it's effectively power 20 as long as you get that disintegration out there, which we messed up, so his jacks should have died a little bit faster than they did. But I think even if that was the case, he jammed me out of the scenario so effectively that we were talking about it, and like I might have been able to send my Archangel in on the Doom Reavers and Valachev that was in the zone there to clear out my zone, and I might have been able to run a Harrier over to the flag to contest that. But then when I was looking at it, the one Doom Reaver would have stayed alive then instead of the Harrier killing him, and then he would have been able to apparate back, charge the Harrier and clear that out, and then all he had was the 2 Raptors on the other side that he'd have to clear out to score the flag on the other side, or he could just clear out that Harrier and contest my zone and then win anyways. So I think and if I did that with the Archangel, then the Juggernaut would have been alive, so I definitely would have had to try to kill that with the Carnivean, who had 1 Fury on him already, so it would have been a Carnivean with 3 Fury that had to kill the Juggernaut, otherwise my Archangel's totally hooped. And after I'd thrown him, then it would have gone the Juggernaut out of the way for my Archangel to do it, but then all he has to do is stand up his 2 jacks, and he has 2 jacks that could get into my Archangel. If I could have even landed somewhere where I could have charged one of them, and then also being able to reach all of them and clear them out. So looking at it, I don't think it was really viable, but it was another option that we had looked at. But other than that, it was a really fun game for me. It was really interesting to see how Bethayne plays, and I'm definitely going to have to look into picking up some Hex Hunters and maybe a Throne at some point in the future.
Khador afterthoughts. Alright, so going into this, I chose to go first, and I chose the Pathfinder objective. I think given the terrain, the Pathfinder objective was a good pick, and I got some mileage out of that. Going first, I was worried those Raptors and that Archangel, if I let Ryan go first, he'd go flying across the table with them and be threatening all the way across the table. So I was like, I want to go first just so I can try to seize some ground. And then looking at, I've played against the Raptors before, and I couldn't remember exactly what their threat ranges were, but I knew they were obscenely long. I remember playing before and be like, oh yeah, if I step out of my deployment, I'm in their threat range, basically. So I decided I couldn't play the threat range dance of trying to out-threaten people, and all I could really do was commit to just flooding my troops up the table and hope enough of them survive to punch in. I could have probably kept some back from like where Craelix shot at some guys, I think, and the Archangel shot some guys early on. I could have tried to stay out of some of that, maybe, but it just didn't seem worth it. I was like, I'm just going to push them up and hope enough survive to fight back with. That's the game plan. The only thing I think I could have did smarter for that, in hindsight, was I should have done my trick I wanted to do with the Escort and the Koldun Lords. I could have put blizzards on a couple of Doom Reavers and used that to make them harder to hit and to screen the ones in behind them with the clouds. That probably would have been a smarter thing to do if I thought of that, but I didn't. It worked out okay-ish. Like, it was rough. Those Raptors killed most of that unit of doers I put behind the forest, because I was really hoping to have that unit pile into the Archangel, and when they killed most of that unit, I was like, what am I supposed to do now? Because now I don't know how I'm going to fight that Archangel. So pretty much at that point, I made the decision that I wasn't going to fight the Archangel, and I was just going to push really hard on the scenario. And I honestly got lucky there. Because I can't say I thought it all out ahead of time. I was kind of impulsively with the Crow's Cutthroats. Instead of skirmishing with them, I decided to just push them in. Because same thing, like, I was sight on the Beast, didn't really care about their stealth. The Raptors could threat so far anyway that I just, even, like, they can beat my threat range game pretty good. So I decided to just push him up into Ryan's zone. And then I got lucky that he missed a lot of attacks on them and like rolled low enough with the Forsaken Blight Bomb you dropped on me that it didn't just kill all of them. So I got really lucky that they stuck around in the zone as long as they did, and really helped me push that scenario play. So there's a lot of luck going on there. But other highlights I think from this game was Alexia got to be a combat rock star. Usually I have her hanging out just making skeletons and throwing them out. But when those Raptors were up in her face, I had the one turn where I tried attacking them and just they needed to roll pretty high to land hits. And I didn't roll any of the hits. So when that happened, I decided the next time I had the opportunity, I got lucky again that she survived on like one box and got to go into combat. And yeah, she got the the boosted to hit cavalry charge was pretty good, and then she can buy and boost attacks with souls, and as she kills someone and gets a soul, she can use that to keep buying and boosting attacks. So she got to be a combat rock star, which felt awesome for her. That's the first time I've got to play her like that. So that was neat. What else was there? My Greylord Escorts, in hindsight, I had them throw out a couple of Frostbite sprays. And in hindsight, if they had done their Entropic Aura, I might have been able to mess up Ryan's stuff. Because I had, like, the Carnivean at one point had 2 systems crippled. And then he just healed it up and went to town on me. And I was like, you know what? If I had done Entropic Aura instead of I did a spray at the 2, at Annyssa Ryvaal and one of the Raptors and didn't hit either. Like, he should have done his Entropic Aura and messed up that Carnivean. But at the time when I used that escort, I didn't realize I was going to throw the Juggernaut into the Carnivean at all. And then even when I threw it in, I wasn't expecting it to do awesome. I just wanted to buy time to hopefully repair the Marauder. And then the Juggernaut really did some awesome damage rolls and hurt it really bad. Then missed, so the Carnivean's new Def 12 instead of Def 11 or 10, whatever it was before, mattered. So it did miss it at the end, but I did a ton of damage to it that I just wasn't even planning on at the start of that turn. What else was there? Yeah, mostly I was getting desperate later on in the game because I was pretty much all out of things that could fight that Archangel. Things were looking real grim, and I needed to win on scenario because I was not going to win on attrition. But it was a really fun game though. It was cool to see like playing the good casters and trying to build them. We didn't quite build our lists the way like net lists are supposed to go, like super awesome tournament lists. We didn't. Neither of us built our lists like that, but we built them the way we wanted, and they played pretty good. It was a fun game overall, and that's my afterthoughts, anyways.